Good morning, everyone. It's Ange from Diz Our Dream, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be working on a collaboration with a bunch of other YouTube channels, and we are going to be raiding our pantry and coming up with a meal. So today I decided I'm going to use the trusty crock pot. So let's see what we can put together, but I already have an idea what I want to do. So this is what I have so far. I have cannellini beans, I have chili beans, I have San Marzano tomatoes, and I have these diced tomatoes, and I was looking for another bean. I have black beans, but I don't know. And then here's some black beans too. Let's see what else I have hiding in here. Let's see what this is. Huh, look at this. I found another bean, so we will use these. Okay, so as you may have guessed from our list of ingredients, I'm going to be making chili. And again, I have San Marzano tomatoes. I have some diced tomatoes that I found. I have cannellini beans. I have red beans. And I also have these mixed chili beans. And I had my last packet of chili seasoning, and I have some onion left. So I'm gonna put all that together. Now, a lot of people do follow a recipe, and I did find a recipe that called for tomato sauce, which I don't have. So since I'm using what's in my pantry, we're gonna go with these tomatoes, and hopefully, you know, it might be a little bit thin, but that's okay. We're gonna make do because it's still going to be delicious. I also have my spices that I'm able to use, so our list comprised of certain ingredients that you would find in your pantry or in your refrigerator, and we're kind of limited to those, so I'm gonna make do with what I have, and we'll see how this all turns out. Okay, so I have all the cans open right now, and we're gonna take a look at what we have in here. So here are the San Marzano tomatoes, and I was really excited to see those actually don't look really watery. They look pretty good, so I'm excited to use these. These are a little more expensive. They're delicious. They're a little bit sweet, and they're wonderful. So I'm going to have to definitely replace that can because I always want to keep it in my pantry. Over here we have these red beans, and you can see the liquid in there is just kind of clear. So we're going to go ahead and drain those. And we're also going to drain these cannellini beans because there's really nothing special about those. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, these tomatoes are fire roasted diced. So we're going to just use those as is. We'll see what kind of flavor that gives our chili. And these are mixed chili beans in a mild chili sauce. So I'm actually not going to drain those, and I'm going to take advantage of the sauce that exists in this can already and see what we can make of it. Okay, so I have my beans draining, and they've drained here in my colander. I put the San Marzano tomatoes into this bowl, and as you can see here, they're whole tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fork and kind of cut these up because you don't want a whole tomato inside of your, in the chili like that. So we're gonna kind of break that all up. And also I decided I think I'm gonna add a little bit of spice to it, but don't tell Jeff because he's a little bit of a wimp when it comes to spicy food. And I don't know if he can hear me or not, but we're going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes to this as well, because it is mild chili seasoning. Some people buy the hot chili seasoning, and if you do, then you don't obviously need to add the pepper flakes unless you want it really spicy. And I really enjoy a little bit of spice. These chili beans also, you want to check to see what's in things that are already seasoned. So these mixed chili beans have a mild chili sauce, so I could feel pretty good about adding a little bit of spice. Okay, so I have my red pepper flakes that I'm going to use. And also I remembered a while back I had made a chili recipe, and I actually added cocoa to it. I don't know if you all have ever heard of that. So I'm going to add, I found this in my pantry. So as an additional spice, I'm going to add a little bit of Hershey's cocoa to it. So we'll see how this all turns out. But I did chop up my tomatoes, my San Marzano tomatoes. So they're kind of all chopped up now. And I used a fork and a spoon to kind of pull those apart. And now really, the only prep that I need to do is chop up this onion. So again, this is a meatless chili, and I'm following the directions for our pantry raid. So I'm making sure that I'm using everything on that list. Typically I would add either ground turkey or ground meat, but because I only have so many items on the list that I can use, I am not putting meat in this batch of chili. So this is going to be a meatless vegetarian version, but you could feel free to put whatever you'd like in there. I know a lot of people, they do like a vegetarian option. So this is definitely a vegetarian option without the meat. But again, you could add ground meat, ground beef, you could add ground turkey, ground chicken. There's so many things you can do with chili. A lot of times I'll just kind of throw in, you know, whatever I have. So a lot of times I'll put red pepper in as well. But again, because we're kind of limited to what we can do, I'm just going to put in some onion. So we'll get all this together. The crock pot is plugged in. I'm going to turn it on and we're going to add all the ingredients into the crock pot and see how this goes. All right, so we are here. We're going to throw everything into the crock pot. So first I'm going to put in these tomatoes. And again, these tomatoes the sauce smells so good. Jeff came into the kitchen and he said, it smells like pizza sauce. These San Marzano tomatoes are really good. So we went ahead and put those in. I'll just put this right here. And we will add our roasted tomatoes. And you can see those are it's going to be a little thicker, it looks like. We'll have to see when this is all done. We're going to let this cook all day and see how it all turns out. So I'm going to add the beans, 2 of the beans that I had draining. So we'll add those in, and then we're going to add our can of mixed chili beans. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. And those, again, already have a little bit of seasoning to them. Okay, so that's everything there. And then we are going to add our our onion. We're going to go ahead and put that in, and we're going to stir it all together. So as I said, I'm going to add my packet of mild chili seasoning. Let's go ahead and add that. Some red pepper flakes. And then I am going to add a tablespoon of cocoa. Put that in there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this all together. And as you can see, it looks like it's going to be fairly thick. So I know I was a little bit concerned about how it's going to turn out as far as, is it going to be too liquidy, because we don't have a tomato sauce, that we used canned tomatoes, and already it smells good, but I'm sure it's those San Marzano tomatoes. So what I'm going to do is I have my crock pot on low, and we're going to let this go for about 3 hours, and we're going to check on it and see how it looks. So it has been 3 hours, and my trusty assistant is gonna see, we're gonna see how it looks. Typically when I put stuff in the crock pot, I try not to stir it too much, so.
How do I?
Oh, look at that. You could set down the lid.
Just like this?
Yep, and give it a stir. Oh, look at that. It's all coming together. We're gonna let it keep on cooking, and we will check it in a couple more hours. Looking good. All right, so we have waited and our chili is ready. So let's take a look and see how it looks. Oh, look at that. So it seems like it did thin out a little bit. Oh, no, it's still looking pretty good. I'm thinking it's gonna be good. It smells really good. So I'm gonna put a little bit in a bowl and we will give it a try. We're gonna add some cheese to it. And see how it is. Okay, so I threw some in the bowl and I'm gonna add some cheese to it, and cheese is on the list. And you can also add salt and pepper too if you want. I typically don't add it till the end, just because I try to watch my sodium, and Jeff's not a huge pepper fan, but we'll take a taste of this and see how it is. It's really good. Just a little bit spicy. The cheese adds the extra creaminess to it. and really balances out with the chili. So we'll make Jeff try it. Okay, so we have our next taste tester. Jeff's gonna try it.
Yep. There's no meat in here?
There's no meat in there. I know. He makes a face. I wasn't allowed to put meat in. It's not part of the pantry raid. But it's cheesy. So we're allowed to put... All right, so what do you think? Do you like it without the meat? You like it better with the meat?
I like it better with the meat.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, a lot going on there. So
I don't taste the chocolate.
You don't taste the cocoa. Yeah. So it's just supposed to give it a little bit of a balance. It is a little spicy.
Yeah, a little spicy.
Oh, geez.
What'd you do?
Added a little bit of red pepper flakes. But you give it a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Reluctantly. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
He'll eat it. Right.
Spicy.
Spicy. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We would appreciate that. And thanks again. And we will see you real soon.